Hey everybody, so unbelievably the last week in our English 2226 Masterpieces of World Lit course, I feel like I am doing a video just introducing you or welcoming you to the course, but here we are at the end. So a couple of comments. The first one is actually about the past couple of units and maybe this one, and this is probably a bigger issue for you as the student than it is, I think, for me as the professor and indeed for your overall grade, but a number of you have been getting slightly less points on the discussion board essays than maybe you were getting at the start. Like I said, this probably shows up as a bigger issue for you than honestly it is certainly for me in terms of your work for the class and even your overall grade, just given the way the points are distributed. But I wanted to mention that I think one of the things that happens, actually there's a couple of things that happen that end up kind of affecting students' grades towards the end of the class. And again, I can't stress enough that it probably looks like a bigger issue from the student side than it really is in terms of the overall grade. First of all, people get tired, I mean, honestly, especially in our accelerated course, and this isn't as sort of simplistic or oversimplistic as I'm making it out to be. But I think what happens, and I can actually see this, and maybe you can even see it too if you read back the posts that you post to the discussion board and then get the grade and then read them again, if you do that, is that people know what they want to say, but they're actually sort of too tired to type enough to actually say it. So this is such a common problem, and it's so simple, but you know, it happens over and over again. It's almost so simple we don't even think about it. But you as the writer, you know what you want to say. And so you write your discussion board post, and because you already know what the language you've put down is pointing to, you sort of read a sentence or a couple of sentences or a paragraph or indeed the whole post and think, oh yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say. But if you read it without the knowledge you have as the writer of what this is supposed to imply or what it's all supposed to say. So if you read it like me, like the reader who doesn't have your prior knowledge, oftentimes you'll see that it doesn't really quite get to say what it is that you're clearly pointing to. It's almost like the one key sentence in every paragraph that would actually tie it together, that would explain why the quotation fits in with the idea for that paragraph and indeed with the whole idea for the essay. That sentence is missing. And I think literally it's an element of fatigue in the course. People just are running out of steam, and I think legitimately so. If you can just hold on for another week, you'll be done. But anyway, I wanted to point out what's sort of a trend generally in this class, and again, it's repeating itself here. So if you're seeing your discussion board post grades go down a little bit, it's not probably that big a deal. Given the overall kind of point value that we've been working with, and even the final essay, which is still out there to do. And also, because I'm not supplying a lot of comments back to people, you may be one of those who's falling into this trap of thinking you've said what you wanted to say, but if you read it from kind of as objective a standpoint as possible, without that prior knowledge you have as a writer, you may be seeing that you're not actually bringing all those threads together in every paragraph, or indeed in the essay post overall. So something to look at. And again, to see those grades go down is shocking maybe as a student, but honestly, if you look at the overall point value for the whole course, and if you've been doing well consistently, to lose a few points here or there is really not that big a deal. So I just wanted to sort of alert you to one of these things that can happen. I guess the bigger issue is to not let that happen for either the final post that you're doing for Unit 9, which is due on, I think it's Tuesday, I want to say, Tuesday, June 22nd, another Modern World unit challenging dominance this time. So that's the last discussion board response essay you're doing. So be sure that when you have an idea, you're actually typing that idea in full, not just kind of pointing towards it and then moving on because you're like, oh my God, another one of these. And of course, on your mind is within this week, we have that unit due on Tuesday, and then the final unit, Unit 10, due on Friday, June 25th, so the end of this week. It's Monday right now as I'm recording this. So the real issue then is to make sure that, particularly for the final essay, you are being as explicit as possible in terms of really making those ideas clear, fleshing them out. And if there's one thing to make sure you're doing is connect details to an overall idea. Don't just sort of leave them out there for me as the reader, for any reader, to do the work of the analysis for you. Be sure you're doing that work. Excuse me. So I think Unit 10 is or Unit 9 is fairly self-explanatory. It follows the same basic pattern and kind of ideas that we've been looking at throughout the course. And then Unit 10 is obviously the final essay. So another essay that you're submitting through Blackboard, as opposed to doing the discussion board posts. So more of the traditional kind of submitted essay thing. And as you might expect, for a final overview essay, what we're looking to do is synthesize a number of kind of overarching ideas that are coming from the course objectives that are part of the syllabus in our class, and also from the additional readings that you did way back at the start of the course, way back a month ago, that you find through the readings link here. The titles generally are the Liberal Education, Masterpieces, Nature of Humanities, and Reading Literature. So just introducing again some of those kind of overarching or grander ideas that we're thinking about. So you're taking those kind of big ideas and then trying to particularize them in terms of specific readings from the class. And so I'm looking for examples from at least 4 readings from, and I can't stress this enough, from throughout the course. So don't just go back to the New Testament and give me 4 quotations from that. I need to see that you've really engaged with the material from the start to the finish, from different cultures, different time periods, different gendered authors, all of that kind of stuff. So really try to highlight the comparative literature aspect, or even the multicultural aspect of the project that we've really undertaken for this class. And I think that's about it. So a little explanation for why some people's grades have been slipping a little bit, although again not that big a deal honestly, but particularly to pay attention to that final essay, that you really are spelling out exactly the big idea, the topic sentences, there's details, and then kind of making sure that's all tied together in some explicit way, not leaving that for the work of the reader to do. If you have any questions, by all means be in touch with me. I would review all your grades at this point just to make sure that they're all there. You can kind of calculate your grade to this point. The final essay is worth a little bit more than the discussion board posts, so there's still substantial point value kind of out there for the class. And otherwise, we're into our last week, so just you know, push on through till at least Friday. Be sure you submit that essay correctly, and obviously check into Blackboard on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday even to make sure there were no issues. Certainly check your email, you know, Saturday at the latest, unless you submit your essay very late on Friday. If there's an issue with the submission, if it's just a wrong document or some weird technical thing happens, I'll be in touch with you right away, but you want to get that message from me and be able to resubmit ASAP, okay? So hang in there. We continue to zoom through Masterpieces of World Lit, and if you have any questions, especially about upcoming work, be sure to be in touch with me. So Unit 9 Tuesday, Unit 10, the final unit, by Friday, all right? Any questions, be in touch.